Hello! I've got my If You Were a Penguin book here, and I'm going to show you how to draw some penguins. And if you want to add some different things to it, like a hat or a scarf, we've got some scrap papers here. You could draw them, or you could also cut them out. So I'm going to show you that as well. So I've got my little guy here. He's pretty cute, right? I'm going to kind of do a combination of that, and I'm going to do two so you can see two different ways. And of course, you make your penguin the way you want to make it. It doesn't have to look just like mine. So if I'm looking at this little guy, I'm going to draw his body first, and I'm going to show you a simpler way. It kind of reminds me of a bowling pin. So I have kind of a upside down letter U, and then I'm going to go out and down a little bit, and then this is a curved line. Now, of course, this penguin has lots of soft feathers, fluffy feathers, different than his parents. Their feathers are a little bit different, right? And I love that the arms are up, and I'm actually going to do it just like that. So those little flippers go up, and those just also look like kind of letter U's, right? Up and out. Oh, it looks like he's going to be dancing. Okay, now the other way I can do the body is a little bit simpler, and that's just going to be an upside down letter U, and then I'm going to connect it like this. Do you see how big I'm drawing them on the paper? Now these papers are a little bit smaller. If your paper is bigger, like let's say this size, you could do your penguin really big like this. Look at that. Look how big that fills the page. So that's really big. Okay, so now on this one, I'm going to look at my picture. So anytime you look at a picture, just break it up into shapes and sizes, shapes and lines. So I'm going to look here, and I'm going to do this little face part, and guess what? It's a letter U, big, wide letter U. And then it's going to curl up, and it almost looks like I'm doing a big P, right? A P, but I'm not connecting it. And this way is backwards, so I'm going to go this way. So it's a little curved, and then I just connect this with a big smile. Now for the beak, you're not going to have just a little smile because their smiles are different, right? They have a beak, and if you look at the shape of this, it's actually like a diamond. So I'm going to draw a diamond and then a letter V right in there. And if you look at the little eyes, they're little black ovals with a little white circle in there, that little highlight. That's where the light reflects off of them because they're nice and shiny. So I'm going to do that right there. Oh, there's my little penguin face. And then the little dark feathers seem to sort of end right here, don't they? And look at the feet. To me, they look like a W with a V next to it. W, V, boom. And then I'm going to go in and add some more things and some feathers. Now in this one, I'm going to do it a little bit different. So on this one, I might have... Let's see, I'm going to do a belly, so I'm going to do an upside down letter U, and I'm going to leave a lot of space up here for the head. But first, I want to add I'm going to add a little scarf on here. So I'm going to do two kind of curved lines for my scarf. Then for my little penguin face, I'm going to add just a triangle pointing down for my beak. And then two circles. Now, could you do the eyes in a different way than I'm doing them? Of course you can. So this one, I'm going to do a little bit differently than I did on those eyes. I'm going to leave a little outline there. Okay, and then this one, he's going to be wearing a little hat. So I'm going to do another curved line, and I might go out a little bit here. And I'm going to make a big fluff ball on the top. Now, if you notice, I just went on top of that, but you could... Since you would be doing this in pencil first, I'm doing Sharpie so you can see, but you could erase and make the hat taller or kind of lean down. Now this one, I could put the hat right on top of the head if I want one. So if I wanted to do, maybe I'm going to make a little bouncy line here, and maybe my hat's going to kind of bend over on this one. So I'm going to make a big reach over and then come back a little bit, and then I'm going to start somewhere in the middle here and then connect it back down. And I could also add a little fluff ball, which I might do that in a little bit. And then this one, I could add a big scarf, couldn't I? But I think I'm going to add a little vest, maybe a little tacky sweater vest. Oh, I'm going to add that on in a second. Let me finish this penguin. Okay, so for here, I'm going to add my little flippers. Those are just going down, again, a little kind of U shape, and then my little W feet coming off there. And I'm going to put a little shape here, and that's just that black that goes around the penguin. Okay, and I want to add a little bit something to my scarf here. The scarf could come down like this, or maybe this one's going to be blowing in the wind. So I'm going to have two little pieces here, and I think a little bit of fringe. I'm going to add a little bit of fringe in there. Okay, so I've got the two penguin shapes, and you figure out which one you like. You can always go back and redraw it. You can combine them. And I even looked inside this book, and I drew this penguin here, and I did the same thing I did with the other ones. I just looked at the shapes. I started with the sides of the body, and then I drew the head. So I have 3 penguins to work on. Wow, you probably just have one, and that's okay. Yours might be on a bigger paper too. Mine are smaller. Okay, so now I'm going to add some different things. So for this penguin, guess what? He's not going to be wearing a winter hat. He's wearing a party hat. He's got things to do. He's got places to go. And he's got a fun, fancy party hat on. And he might be holding maybe a cupcake. Maybe it's someone is celebrating something. Okay, and I like how he is on the iceberg, but also kind of reminds me he's on top of, or she's on top of a pedestal, like when someone's won something. So maybe I could put a gold medal on. All right, so these ones, I'm going to put this one by the edge of the water, but guess what? It's ice. So I'm going to make a little edge. This is the edge of the ice. And so maybe there's a little place here. And look, I only put the edge going this way, and see now, this is water, and that's the thickness of the ice. And then maybe back here, there's a hill. Okay, maybe there's a big sloped hill, and going down there, there's gonna be little penguins, and they're gonna be going like this, tobogganing down there. Okay, and then this one, maybe this one is going to be on a little iceberg like this, floating in the water. Oh dear, I hope someone's there to save him. I'm going to put some water, and he's floating around. Okay. So when you finish adding all your details, and maybe I'll add some clouds, and maybe I'll add a baby penguin, or maybe I could add some other fun things. Maybe the penguin isn't in Antarctica. Maybe the penguin is somewhere else, like my party penguin. Maybe this isn't a playground and he's up on a pile of dirt. So if you want to add things to your penguin, let's say you've drawn a very simple penguin, like if I have this here, and let's see, let me draw my little simple penguin. Oh, I'm gonna do the eyes a little bit differently here. Do, 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 do. All right, there's my little flippers and my feet. Very simple penguin, right? And maybe I'm just gonna go like this. Okay, and on this one, I'm gonna cut out different papers. So I might cut out different papers to make my scarf. So the first thing I'm gonna do is cut out a big piece like this. And I'm gonna see where it goes. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna draw the line. I'm gonna connect these 2 lines, boop, and these 2 lines, boop. And then I'm going to know exactly where to cut those pieces off, and I'm going to have a nice big thick scarf. Look at that. Oh, and these pieces could even come down off the scarf like this if I flip them. But I might want thicker ones than that. But that could look like that. And if I wanted to cut a little hat out, I could do that as well. And I could cut different lines out to become decoration. So I'm going to cut a little bit of, actually, I might cut these shorter ones. I'm just going to cut small rectangles, and I'm going to use these, and I'll glue them on to decorate my scarf. And I could put these all in a row, or I could put them in different directions. But look at that. Oh, that looks fun. And you could cut all different kinds of things out. I even found, I was looking through some grocery ads, and I found these people in a pajama, and oh, I'm gonna cut out a big round shape because I love the pattern. And you could use magazines that you're allowed to cut, or other construction paper. And look, now I have a patterned puffball for the end of my penguin. How fun is that? And I think I'm even gonna cut out, maybe I'm gonna cut out some cupcakes for my penguin. Whoops. Okay, so I've got my little shape for my cupcake, and I'm going to draw my little lines, and then maybe there's a cherry on top and little sprinkles. So this is going to be in this guy's hand right there. Boop. So once you finish drawing, and if you have things to cut out you want to add to your penguins, you can do that. And then when you go to color, color really carefully with whatever material you have. If you have color pencils or crayons or markers, you can give nice patterns to things. I'm going to do some stripes on here, and the hat's going to match it too. Because it's nice to have some fun patterns since our penguins are black and white with an orange beak, right? So I'm going to add in my little orange beak here. And you can use, especially if you have crayon or color pencil, you can add some shadows in the snow because it's not going to be pure white. They're going to have some shadows of blues and purples. So I want that hill to have a little blue in it. And then look here, I could shade this a little bit darker than the ice, like that. And then I can use another blue to be the water. And then I can do a light blue on the top of the ice. Think outside the box. If you want your penguin to be in outer space or underwater, they would be underwater in real life, right? Maybe not outer space. You can be as creative as you want making your penguin art. And if you want to start drawing, go ahead, and I'm going to be drawing some fancy snowflakes on here if you want to keep watching. So I start with a big X, line right through the middle, but guess what? These are fancy, but I'm going to make them fancier. And I'm going to do that with letters of the alphabet. You ready? I'm going to cross these to make little T's. Boop. This one, I'm going to put little O's at the tops, the ends of those lines. This one, I'm going to top it with letter V's. Look at that. Just little mountains. But here's how you make them even fancier, is when you combine these. So I've got my little space down here, X, line. I'm going to do the mountain, or my letter V. Then I'm going to do crossing the T. Then, that's pretty fancy, I'm going to put an O at the top. Look at that. You can combine these in different ways, and you can come up with other ways to make them fancy. Look at this, a letter V, and I'm just doing 2 of them. And that made it fancier, didn't it? So maybe you can come up with different ways to make some fancy snowflakes. What if I connect this with a curved line? Kind of spiderwebby, isn't it? All right, good luck on your penguins.